to the understanding of how the Hawaiian culture was able to sort of hone in on these natural cycles and then align their societal structure from there. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for the question.
Again, it's a real privilege to be here in the monument. For me, this is my second expedition aboard the exploration vessel Nautilus, and this is by far the most remote that I have spent time at sea. But I know there's a lot of experience here in the van, and I'm curious from other folks what you feel is the most maybe interestingly remote or kind of special place that you've been able to experience through time at sea in your work.
I mean, yeah, it's really a great privilege and honor to be out here and experiencing both the life on the surface of the ocean, in the sky above us, and on the seafloor, and try to understand the connectivity of those different spaces, both ecologically as well as their connection to the cultural understanding of this place. It reminds me, or is in my mind, another experience that I really cherish. It was an opportunity I had to be on an expedition of the International Scientific Ocean Drilling Program on their vessel called the Joydes Resolution, where we did an expedition that transited from Chile to San Diego, and our primary working site was at 1 degree north in the East Pacific Ocean, and it's not too far away from the Galapagos. And like there, it was an amazing connection of like seeing just an incredible amount of birds in the sky above us, who would kind of just hover right along the sides of the ship as they're catching the drafts and looking for fish, and lots of things circling the boat. Stick a camera down through the moon pool, you could see a ton of fish hiding out in the shadow of the vessel. We saw a whale shark, like just so many cool, sea turtles. Yeah, it reminded me of the work out here too. Just in kind of that kind of tropical, subtropical, the animals that I don't get a chance to see very often in Maine. It's a very different animal community there.
Thanks for sharing that. I think it was 2 years ago, we were transiting from Hawaii to Samoa for the most remote location, I think. Rennie, Jake, and I are all on the same cruise for this.
Steve was there on the way back.
And Steve, too.
Or were you on the way down?
Steve was the lead.
Which cruise?
Science lead.
One of the remote Pacific ones. Were you on the way down from Hawaii or the way up?
Yeah, on the way down.
Way down.
Yeah, Jarvis and Kingman and Palmyra. Yeah,
that's
right.
Right.
Islands.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were great sites.
We actually had to drop off gas to Palmyra, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because the researchers there's like, I don't know, 4 or 5 researchers that
16 researchers. Well, that's their capacity. I don't know if there was that many on.
But they like stay there for a year at a time, and they're very low on supplies and stuff, but they're actually running low on gas, and their shipment wasn't going to come for a while, so they asked us to drop our small boat in the water, visit them on the island, and give them some gasoline.
They give us coconuts in return.
And they gave us coconuts in return.
I mean, that's like a joke. We traded fuel for coconuts in the middle of the remote
Best
Pacific.
coconut I ever tasted, though.
Yeah,
it was.
And I remember that looking at a Google Earth image of where we were, our position in the middle of the Pacific, we were just like one dot, and the rest of it was just completely blue around us. I think Trevor said that we were closer to the International Space Station than any other.
The closest to human beings I was down there for Amelia, so Howland Island, and or Nicomaroro, sorry.
Yeah.
And the closest to human beings to us were the International Space Station when they went over.
It's only, it's
160 miles or 250 miles.
215 or something, and there's only a few little land masses out in the remote Pacific, and as long as you're out 200 nautical miles outside of that and there's nothing on radar,
Yeah,
then.
that's them. I remember at some point the NTP servers or the GPS servers somehow picked up where we were and fed that to my iPhone. And my wife hit, find my iPhone and all of this, and it finds me. I have an iPhone in my pocket, and I'm in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and she scrolls out, and she goes, "Is that really where you are?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's really where I am. I'm in the middle of nowhere." So,
Yeah. Minorly terrifying thought.
yeah, a little bit.
And Jarvis Island is like a square mile of sand and birds. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a foot out of the water, too.
Yeah.
That was very, very fun. Very cool.
Wow.
That's only when the ISS is overhead. Circles the Earth 17 times a day, I think.
There's an app for that.
Yeah.
What speed are we hauling the vehicles up at?
16 meters a minute.
And are we hauling them? I guess we are.
I'd say it's a slow haul,
Yeah.
but not ekingly slow.
We're limited to Hercules' ascent speed.
Yeah, we're not actually dragging Hercules up with the winch.
They're kind
Hercules
of
is flying
parallel
up.
to each other in the water column.
Yeah.
Argus gets drugged, Hercules flies.
Yeah.
So you know what we were saying before about 5 meters a minute difference is between okay and very slow.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that would have been another extra, 100 minutes?
I don't know, Rennie, base 10? Or?
Base 10, yeah.
If it was 5 meters per minute, it would have been, what, 3 times longer?
Should we let him in on the joke? No, it's okay.
That's fine. No one needs to know that.
No way.
Okay.
Oh, now I have to.
Yeah. Yeah, 200 minutes, just quick math out there, is not 2 hours.
Yeah.
Just in case
So
anyone was wondering.
Yeah.
when we walked into the van this morning, we were 3,000 meters, and you do the rough math of 15 meters per minute. You're going, okay, so roughly 200 minutes, so 3 hours and change. And Rennie goes, I was thinking it was 4 hours, and then I was thinking it was 2 hours. And yeah, you're right. It's 3,000 divided by 15 gives us 200. And later on he goes, I was thinking of time in base 10.
Yeah, when you wake up, math is a bit different. In my dream realm, I worked on a base 10 system.
100 minutes is 1 hour. It works for me.
The whole world made sense.
Yep.
That would be so much easier.
To answer your question though about hauling up, if we have a dead vehicle situation, or if we were in some scenario where we needed to, we can haul Hercules up. We just haul Argus up, and Hercules is attached to Argus, but can put some strain on the tether and causes some complications there. So typically we kind of fly Hercules up and Argus at the same speed.
Cool, thank you. We still have quite a few viewers around the world. Thanks for sticking with us through these blue water ascent here. We are hoping to be back aboard the vessel by about 12 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. And then we will be launching the vehicles around 4 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. So this will be a fairly short transit to our next dive location. And that next seamount be a little bit south of us here. We've got a request for folks to describe what each of us do in our positions beyond what is just mentioned on the watch page, which I think on the watch page it just says our title. Sure.
Yeah, who wants to go first?
You're going to confuse me and do the clockwise, counterclockwise thing.
Is that confusing?
It was at whatever time last night.
Is this a base 10 clock or?
We can go counterclockwise. So my position, this is Lindsay, and my position is the Science Communication Fellow. So I get to sit kind of on the left side of the control van and monitor the comments and questions that are coming in, monitor the live SPL or science party line that's going out to the world, and that involves what you are watching on YouTube as well as nautiluslive.org. I can kind of see where folks are tuning in from. And then I'm also keeping track of, during the watch, I'm keeping track of highlights and images and audio and video clips from both Argus and Hercules that might be interesting for our viewers later, so that we can clip together highlight reels as well as stories and photo galleries and blog posts. So that's a little bit about my role.
Welcome to the back row.
Thank you.
One of the few positions that changed from the front row to the back row.
That's right. Yeah. Last 5 years ago when I was out, I would have been over in the far front left corner,
You would have been
hidden
very
behind
cold.
Jeff. Yeah. The difference.
Yes, you would have been very cold, and you'd be sitting next to the video guy.
With a small monitor in front of you.
With a small monitor.
Am I next?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm, I don't, what is my term? Watch lead? Something like that? Science lead?
Watch lead, science lead. Sure, either.
Yeah, one of those two. So I'm sitting next to the Science Communication Fellow. I'm trying to keep an eye on some of the questions coming in case there's some that I'm interested to answer, but also have a chat box open for our scientists ashore to be sending a separate chat feed with their expert opinion and requests and input about what we're seeing. I'm keeping track of where we are with our nav screen, and also the data coming from Grafana about where we are in depth and oxygen and temperature. I have the privilege and power of using the telestrator to make indications on the screen about what we are going to sample or what we're trying to look at or zoom in on with this cool device here off to my side. So my role is really to kind of help guide the pilots about what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish, work with nav to understand how we want to move the vessels to accomplish our objectives, making sure to communicate with the data logger about what we're capturing, making sure we're getting the stills that we need, making requests of video of things we want to make sure we're getting good feed of for capturing the information that we need. And answering lots of questions.
That's right.
So I guess my role is relatively new to the expedition in the dynamic and stuff like that. So I'm actually the Olela Hawaii or Hawaiian language liaison. And then also cultural advisory position sort of for the expedition, if you will. And so actually my role specifically has to do with like the community outreach and interactions in the Hawaiian language. And so with that said, I would like to thank everyone in the control room and the expedition for, creating a space and allowing these conversations to happen. I am specifically in the watch, I have been learning indirectly so much about marine biology. So we're here to learn, but also here to sort of share and have conversations about like the role of, Hawaiian language and the Hawaiian history and culture throughout the rest of the expedition. Keep it short. Yeah.
It's been great to have you. Yeah.
I'm Steve in the data logger seat. My position is basically to annotate the dive, but also do a few other things at the same time. We have an event log system that we're used to write notes, basically, and critical events that happen during the dive. In addition, I have the power to take screen grabs of whatever is being seen in the Hercules or Argus cameras. I'm also operating another camera at the same time, which is the stills camera, but making sure that doesn't have any issues throughout the dive so that we can produce really nice highlights for the SCFs and our website. And I also have a chat here to monitor the chat in case the watch lead is disposed with ongoing operations on the seafloor.
You're often calling out the numbers of samples and things.
Yeah, it's a critical time for us, making sure we keep track of sample sequence and sample descriptions so that we can quickly and correctly get materials off the vehicle and also get them logged, positions on the seafloor, so on.
Steve also manages the wet lab off watch.
Yep. Yeah, after this, we'll head down to the wet lab and start getting it prepped for sampling.
Steve also has the job of making sure we're full of puns.
Yeah.
It's part of your job description.
Yeah. I write that one in myself.
This is Renato Kane sitting in the navigator seat on the watch, kind of in control of all things geospatial. So a lot of spatial data that we collect from mapping. So I'm a part of that team as well, the mapping team. And then a bit of planning, although Chris Kelly, who's our co-lead scientist, has been really instrumental in having a lot of those dive plans already prepared and before the cruise, thanks to having some of this these seamounts already mapped by the Okeanos Explorer a few years back. But yeah, sitting here is mostly orientation and positioning of the vehicles in relation to what we're trying to explore, the features we're trying to explore. And then as far as a bit of a communications coordination liaison between teams. So in launches and recoveries, coordinating the deck team, the bridge, and the ROV team, and then during the watches, coordinating what the scientists want into kind of an actionable plan for the ROV team, and also communicating with the bridge on how to position the ship to make that happen.
For the Herc role, so my name's Jess, sitting in Herc, and yeah, so it's a lot of, as Rennie was mentioning, kind of working between the front row here, so between Rennie and who's on Nav and Jake on Argus. So we work to get kind of the vehicles in the right positions, execute the dive, executables, if you will. You know, generally fly around subsea, get our dive objectives met, both for visual inspection of the seafloor and also for manipulation and getting samples. And then when we're not on deck, getting the vehicles ready for the next dive, either with that, if that's just doing pre-dives or installing instruments or fixing things.
Yeah, maintaining.
And then also deck operations as well. So a lot of us work on helping with launch and recoveries, deploying any instruments as well, depending on the expedition and the dive. Yeah, so yeah, that's.
Jess also provides a lot of sustenance during our watch.
And I'm also the dealer of chocolates.
And the queen of savage cribbage.
And also part of the official job description.
Yes. You gotta make sure everyone's awake, you know.
Didn't know where those came from, actually. No, they do. I was always under the assumption it's the watch lead's responsibility to maintain morale.
Oh.
Are you trying to say I'm falling down on the job here, Steve?
I'm just saying that others have.
This being my first time with this outfit, I was not sure if that was supposed to be my role. I have filled that role in others. I will come prepared on the next expedition in April.
I'll give you a pass.
Duly noted.
It's a distributed effort, though, see.
I just don't understand how many suitcases of chocolate Jess has.
It's always a different one too. It's
Yeah,
always,
where are they
there's
coming
always
from?
some
Well,
different
we're
chocolates.
running low, but we're at the end of this, almost at the end of this leg. So we're gonna start going to Hershey Kisses next.
I got some stashed up too. So
Yeah, I have some.
Oh, okay. Next will be Jake to do
Pass
the
the baton.
chocolate provisions.
Yeah.
that's what I do. I'm the Argus pilot. I assist Herc. That's what I do. That's my role.
All right. Thanks, Jake. Jeff. Jeff, what's your role?
Jake, tell us about the gauges.
The gauges. Back to the gauges. Well, you know, cycle through, checking the hydraulic gauges on the vehicle, making sure oil levels are good in all of our hydraulic functions.
You could actually hit the button if you wanted to, because everybody can see it now.
Yeah. So we have a bunch of compensators. So they're oil-filled volumes, and these pressure gauges show or read PSI. So you can cycle through. We have a number of them. This is our craft compensator for the craft manipulator. Right now it reads about 3.5 PSI, about. And then there's a couple others. We have our high voltage compensator and HPU compensator. And then our reservoir, which is our largest volume of oil on the vehicle. We're constantly monitoring that, especially when coming to the surface, because as water temperatures heat up, oil expands a little bit, and we want to make sure, especially when we're using a lot of thrusters at the surface, that our reservoir isn't getting too expanded, because at times it can break if it's too large, or if it's basically a bladder, so it can only expand so much. And yeah, that's the gauges. Then I'm also doing a lot of different system checks, different alarms and temperature readings in some of the pressure housings, and all sorts of readings. Just checking to make sure the vehicle's okay.
Systems management.
Systems management.
And Jake also does a bunch of manipulations and stuff too, and flying as well.
Well, I'm training. Jess is a good teacher. So.
Jake's already there. Good. It's kind of fun because then we can do, for the back row, like we can do in tandem, kind of like one of us flies, one of us grabs, and then we can both go.
If you're on like a cliff face, those are the cool ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't sit down.
Well, that leaves one of our watch remaining.
I'm Jeff. I'm the video guy. I push the buttons. I'm Jeff.
Make small things big.
Yeah. So basically my responsibility is to make sure that everybody can see what they need to see and hear who they need to hear and talk to who they need to talk to. So I babysit the stuff that people see on shore. That's the 3 satellite feeds. So I can punch through the buttons and go, hey, look, there's camera 1 and there's camera 2 and there's camera 3. All of the equipment on the left-hand side of the screen up here, that's my domain. Make sure, and so what people don't see on shore necessarily is that we're also recording all of this. So making sure that everything's recorded, all the metadata for the records is okay. Additional records up there for cameras that you don't necessarily see, all the vehicle cameras. What else? Yeah, that's okay. Oh, and the most important part is, listening to the pilots and actually controlling their cameras so that they can see and focus on what they need to see. So that's the easy one. You just have this voice in the back of your head that says, Jeff, zoom. Jeff, away. Jeff, zoom. Jeff, away. Focus is optional, but usually I try and focus too.
Focus is optional.
That's an old sports joke. So yeah, whenever somebody says, Jeff, camera on feed 3, can you send high pack or fleeter mouse or DP or and we can see a lot of things. Basically every computer on every computer in this room we can put out on Sat-3. We can put the Hercules out there so we can see what Jess is punching around. So, or the sub-bottom sonar or the other sonars. There's a lot of stuff.
Really going towards that audience immersion experience then.
Yeah, Sat-3 is the, if you're tired of looking at blue water, you can always look at Sat-3 and look at even more screens. So, and as we were doing the round robin here, Lindsay probably noticed, but I was putting all of you on camera at some point. So
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything. I wanted
with
everyone
great
to
power
be natural.
comes, yeah, it's like, just be natural, it's okay. So what do we want to look at now? Anybody? Here, that's the generic wide shot that really doesn't identify anybody. So
Jeff mentioned, but it's worth delving into a little bit, kind of at the end of a cruise, the products that we, what came of this cruise, and any good science is recording data. And so one of the most important things that we do is have our, the HD video is recorded and preserved, as well as all the sensors we have on the vehicles. And Steve works diligently to kind of put human words to what we're seeing, and the physical samples we collect. So a lot of kind of the end of an expedition, what is the product? And
yeah, the deliverables.
The deliverables, yeah. And so there's there's a data archive per expedition that we keep of all of that logged data, and the video, and then the physical sample.
All inclusive, how many, I mean, it's got to be terabytes.
Per cruise?
Yeah, per cruise. What do we?
I think a couple terabytes, but then the video is another couple terabytes. Yeah.
Right, yeah, the video.
Or total.
Yeah.
Because we're recording 2 uncompressed HD streams, and yeah, that's quite a bit of data.
And the mapping data can be quite large as well. So, but
okay, is everybody done with?
That's our watch. And then how long is our watch?
4 hours. 8 hours off. 4 hours on. 8 hours off. 4 hours
off in quotation marks.
Off,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Duty or leisure.
Duty or leisure. That was a lot of duty. How about a leisure question?
Oh yeah. Cribbage.
The fact that there's 3 bass players on this watch is kind of odd.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to describe this. I know what they're talking about, but wondering if we can connect, on a non-work, I don't know if this is way too off topic. You mentioned bass guitars, so I'm going to go with it.
Deep sea bass, deep sea bass.
Other than cribbage and bass, starting with Jess, can we each find one thing that we have in common with each other? Does that make sense?
Common with each other.
Wait, what?
Okay, so Jess is going to name 2 things that are true of yourself, whatever you want to share with the world here.
No pressure.
And someone in the van, one person can say, I also, whatever, fill in the blank, and add one more thing.
Interesting. Okay,
we're going to see if we can connect the whole van.
And it's all about leisure? Is that
yes, this is a leisure question.
I was about to say, the very obvious one is we're all sitting in here. That's a lot of pressure now for 2 interesting facts about leisure.
Is the person at the end, do they lose because they didn't have anything in common with anything?
They have to connect back to the start.
Okay. One leisure item is that I like to write poems. Another leisure, and it's just someone in the van has to have something similar, or yes. Okay.
Or you lose.
You lose. You don't have any friends.
Do we all lose or just one person loses?
I volunteer to lose here.
Second leisure item is I love dancing, so I'll dance to anything that has somewhat of a beat, even if it doesn't have a beat, honestly. It depends on how desperate I get. So
seen
poems
Jess on
and dancing.
Seen Jess on the Galapagos before.
Actually, I saw Jess last night.
Was there a dance party last night?
No, there wasn't a dance. So there is no, well, I shouldn't say there's no privacy. The public spaces, there's no privacy. So last night, after we recovered the vehicle, Jake and Jess have to go
we were
down.
playing music.
Yeah, Jake and Jess have to go down and prep the vehicle for this dive. And, you know, there's a lot of little stuff going on. And I walk out of the van and I hear music. We're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, you know, and I hear music and it's kind of like, okay. So I walk over to the edge of the railing and I look down and they've got a little Bluetooth boombox down there playing something. And Jess has, you know, got her head up underneath Hercules, just kind of rocking out while she was doing something. You're going, okay, only in the middle of the Pacific on a research vessel would you see somebody playing music, you know, jamming out while they were you had a whole thing of bolts. I don't know what you were doing down there, but it's just she's just kind of down there rocking out while she's working on Herc. So
It's like your happy place, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's your happy zone.
sorry, Jess. I
don't know that that's unique to research vessels, though. I was reminded of that when we were in port in Honolulu, tied up in dock near some of the fishing fleet.
Yeah.
And hearing some very loud ballads being played from one of the vessels as they were doing some restoration work. So
All day and night long.
yep. All right.
All right, poetry and dancing. Any takers?
Anyone? Anyone?
Are we going in a circle, or are we just
No,
shouting
no,
at?
someone has to pick up. Do you
Okay.
also enjoy either one of those?
Yeah, so I'll go after Jess.
Yeah, Beth.
On
get
the dancing theme. So when I'm in the lab downstairs processing samples, especially when it's in the wee hours of the night, you know, I like to turn on some music and I'll catch myself doing a little shimmy and then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm on camera. I could be on camera.
At any time you could be.
I could be on camera in the wet lab. So yeah, I have to subdue my desire to dance down a lab because I would prefer to do that.
Don't fight it.
Well, yeah, you know, but then there's the whole like, people like to screenshot what they see out here, and I don't know that that is
There was some.
necessarily what I want to do.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so, you know, just try to look professional. What else do I enjoy doing?
So two things.
Yeah, does it have to be things on the ship or
No,
just in general?
No,
Okay.
like, we're in leisure mode.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I enjoy dancing and listening to music. And I also enjoy being outside gardening.
Two things.
Yeah.
So you picked up the one.
Yeah.
Two things. So
Oh,
for
okay.
others.
Oh, you add it. You
So I
add
have to
two.
have
Okay.
3 things.
Oh man, I gotta
gosh.
get more hobbies.
Okay.
Now I'm confused, but
What would be the second thing I
1894.
enjoy?
Iridescent
I really enjoy cooking. Yeah. Trying new dishes, trying new recipes. Not all of them work great, but I still enjoy believing that they're going to turn out nice.
I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in on the cooking one.
Yeah.
But I mean, even in the gardening too and stuff like that. Like back at home, we have like there's like a small area that's getting started up there's like a small area we're working on a small area in the place that we live that is kind of sort of getting into revitalizing traditional like agricultural practices and other cultural practices within our community.
Yeah.
And so it's been kind of cool to get involved with this part of with that effort and stuff like that, and to be able to also incorporate like Olelo Hawaii into stuff and like understanding like our history and connections to place.
Mhm.
So that's really cool. So in that way, I mean, I have no green thumb, but I do like to help out where we can. And then the cooking, well, if anybody has talked to me in the last 2 weeks, I think that because I might have some limited knowledge in other departments, such as in every other technical aspect of the expedition, we've definitely connected on food. I want to go ahead and say that Chris and I have probably had the most profound cultural exchange in that I have learned to identify at least one type of coral, but I have also got Steve hooked on kimchi bowls late at night on the water.
Yeah,
which is
I
probably not
tried my
good for
first
us,
one
but
last night.
yeah.
It's great.
Something else I like to do. Oh, I guess I should have thought about that before, but I could only really get in on the cooking thing. Well, I think this one might be easy to go off of, but like I do feel like that we all very much so have a sort of like connection with the ocean in our own various ways, and so even if we have various ways of approaching that or interacting with it, I think that we have the unique opportunity here to, you know, sort of further define or learn more about how we can become more connected to our oceans too. So that was a pretty broad one, but
Two things.
wait, what?
Two
That
things.
wasn't
Two things that are true about yourself. It can
You
be things
did, so
do
you
or-
picked up on the gardening.
Okay, gardening.
Now
And
you have
then
to add two
like,
more.
Love the
the
ocean.
No, he added the food.
oceaning. Yeah, he
Yeah.
added the ocean.
Oh boy.
So you need one more.
Oh, this is gonna be a good one for everybody in the front. I don't know how to play cribbage.
Oh.
Okay.
Would you like to learn?
I'm not scared.
We have a week left.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that'll probably be up on my top 2 things I want to do. The cribbage thing and like
Yeah.
low-key dance party with the whole watch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put in my vote for those two.
two. Both sound awesome.
Yeah, I'll pick up on just the love of the ocean. I feel like, yeah. Concur, agree. And 2 things that are true about me or that I do are I am an AAUS certified science scuba diver. Scuba diving is a huge part of my life, and sometimes I forget that I'm not underwater when I'm in this van. I feel like I'm like right there. Like, I'm diving, but I'm not diving on the boat. And in contrast, I also enjoy rock climbing. Rock climbing is also a big part of
Which
my
we
life.
have also been doing
Which
underwater.
yeah, that was, Herc was climbing some cliffs.
I'll take the rock climbing. I also enjoy rock climbing. And I will add, well, kind of going along with that is I do a lot of, when I'm off the ship, I do a lot of hiking and traveling. And sometimes that involves climbing, but often just getting out hiking and road tripping and exploring new places. And second one, I really enjoy keeping up with like new music like it's coming out. So usually I come out at sea with a few, blindly downloading a few new albums that have just come out, and I kind of listen to them throughout. And internet upload connection isn't always, or download the connection isn't always that great, so you're kind of like stuck with those choices, and that can be good. And you have to, listen to those. And
yeah, I've definitely spent some time digging in on albums.
Sax man. I have like one playlist that I've been playing during our watch with me and Jess, and there's this like, I don't know, saxophone artist, and he's played, I have like 5 songs, and it's just like over and over and over. So we've listened to him like probably 30 times now on this expedition.
it's kind of nice because it also like, it evokes memory later, and you're like, well, I was listening, I tend to listen to albums until I can't anymore.
Yeah.
So I just completely wear them out. But then because of that, they're only okay, that was only this road trip or this one point in time, and you listen to it again, and you remember all the things that you were seeing and feelings you were having then. So it's like smell as a memory. Yeah.
All right, who's left in the van? Duty or leisure? Not duty, just leisure.
I guess I can jump on the hiking.
Nice.
Rennie. I don't do as much as I would like to, but in the Northeast in like the summer,
Ooh, Tina 4,
Oh,
Tina 4.
beautiful.
We finally saw one.
Flopping around.
yeah.
Can we highlight that?
There was
Oh, wait.
there were a
There's one
couple
in
while you were
Argos.
talking at the earlier part of this conversation.
Oh yeah?
And
That one was the best one.
That was
that
the
one was
best.
the closest one.
Yeah.
Tina 4, spelled with a silent C.
But to continue, I do a lot of hiking, like some mountains in the Northeast. And I don't know, I enjoy the physical exertion part
Did you
of it.
say
and
in the
then
Northeast, Jake?
Yeah, in the Northeast.
Like the
yeah.
whites?
Yeah, I've done like Mount Washington a few times.
Awesome.
And then I was actually in Maine earlier this fall. I forgot the name of the mountain we hiked, but it's just nice. Like you get up to the top and it's very like peaceful, and also like you feel accomplished kind of. And it's just good to get out in nature. But besides hiking, I've also kind of burdened myself with. I've taken on some projects like kind of like rehab projects. I bought an old sailboat and kind of taught myself how to sail, and It's something I've always wanted to do. So, but it's turned into a lot of work because it's an old sailboat and it's an old engine, and but it's like it's fun. And it's good experience, and you learn a lot. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
One more thing.
One more thing?
Yeah, because you picked up hiking.
I play a lot of basketball sometimes in my free time. Not as much with COVID actually, because a lot of gyms were shut down. But I also just like to. It's kind of like calming to go out and just shoot on a hoop for some time. And
can't really tell because we're all sitting down, but Jake's actually 12 feet tall. So basketball's very easy for him.
Yep. Yeah, I feel, good when I'm out on the court. But yeah, it's just nice to get out there and shoot around, and it's calming, especially when especially during working on my thesis. At times I would get, stressed out or, overburdened with work, and I'd just be like, I'm just going to go outside and shoot the basketball. There's like a little old hoop attached to a telephone pole on our campus. And it doesn't even have a net, but we would sometimes, like in between exams or whatever, we'd just go out and shoot around a little bit.
Need it to clear your mind.
Yeah, clear the mind, and it's fun.
I wonder how basketball would work on a ship.
Time to roll. Time to roll.
Yeah.
You shoot, and the hoop just like heels over.
Very dynamic basketball. With a lot of nets around to catch the ball, so it doesn't fall into the ocean.
Ping pong in the mess before weather days, and that's fun.
Oh,
it's fun in the rolls.
How did that happen?
What's that?
Ping pong in the mess?
Yeah, we clear off the table, use ketchup bottles as the net, and yeah. Usually the crew walks by looking with disdain. Disapproval.
Seems to be a theme because Atlantis has a ping pong table in the lab.
Yeah. Yep. I have definitely been smoked on that by the captain, one of the former captains.
That was an ocean exploration, I don't know, sport of choice.
Yeah, I think it's just because it collapses easily, it can be stored. It's a game that doesn't cause too much damage.
They're building a new ROV and technology building at URI, kind of testing facility in the next couple of years. And there's kind of a push I've heard, or rumors, that in the conference room they want to make the conference table a big ping pong table.
Is Chris Roman leading that charge?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. There's been some pushback, but also a lot of people on board with it. So.
All right, so what is it? Basketball and
sailboats.
Sailboats.
Who's got it?
Or any type of project. I don't know. It's more of a project.
Like a DIY.
Yeah.
Steve.
I think not the best basketball player, and projects usually not so much.
I think Jeff can do this with avionics.
Yeah, I suppose
Yeah.
So I don't have a sailboat. I do have a fishing boat, a little 16-foot fishing boat that is a hole in the water that you throw money at. And it is a project. It's constantly being tweaked and upgraded. But the bigger project is I'm a pilot who made the unfortunate decision to buy an airplane about a year ago. And that is turning into oh, gee, while I'm here, I've taken this off. I should check this. Wait, yeah. And it's just spiraling into will my plane ever fly again? It will. I'm confident that I will have. The problem was actually after MOB shakedown and NA whatever that was up the coast. I took it out to fly. It's like, this is great, and fly down to this little airport and land and take off, and went to retract the gear, and the gear didn't retract, which is better than the other problem. Much better than the other way around, but was like, okay, great, the gear didn't retract. So it's been the ongoing project since. And it's funny because I can connect, musically. Oh yeah, I bring a lot of old music, some new music, and I can really resonate with Rennie's comment on music identifying time. You can throw an album out there, Radio Chaos by Roger Waters. Oh yeah, I was wiring, Spectrum Sound Studios back in 1987 or whatever it was. Or, I love music. Closeted professional musician. Food, sure. Yeah, love cooking. Always finding new recipes, trying new things. Gardening, yeah, love gardening. Watching, a tomato or an eggplant or a pepper or something. Used to scuba dive eons ago. So yeah, it is a very interesting connection out here. This interesting little web of meeting new people, reconnecting with old people, learning about people that you've met previously but didn't know. I'm getting very philosophical. So somebody take this. Steve.
Well, we're working towards Steve. So
philosophy.
Yeah, so I threw, yes, there you go. The philosophy there.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I sit in my study and ponder my philosophy.
Well, you talked about Humboldt earlier, right? He's kind of a
I mean,
naturalist philosopher.
No, I mean, I do read a lot of books, but it's kind of, patchy. Some like just before I came out here, I finished 3 books in about a month, and then I go long stretches of doing absolutely nothing, no reading except scientific articles. I mean, I think during the pandemic, I definitely developed an appreciation for home cooking, but before that, it's not so much. So that's something I've been trying to cultivate and keep going. But let's see.
Yeah, Steve and I have talked about great Philly restaurants.
Yeah, we're foodie people, that's for sure. But yeah, trying to go out is more challenging. I've got a 4-year-old at home trying to take care of. So he's a big time ocean exploration fan, but doesn't know this really exists yet. So I'm trying to get him hooked on Nautilus Live. Trying to keep the screen time down though, since it's kind of the MO for the pandemic. But otherwise, yeah, it's busy. Trying to just spend time with the family. It's my number one when I'm not doing science.
What's your go-to meal to cook?
Kimchi bowls.
No, we talked about this a while ago. Yeah, I said if I wasn't in science, I'd definitely open a pizza shop.
Yeah.
And do pizzas.
Oh, yes.
I can always make pizza at home in the oven.
This is when we were discussing about pies and pizza.
Yes, because the pizza is a pie. It's just a different form of a pie. And it's a savory pie.
I was just on a little road trip, and I was out in Flagstaff, and there's this really good wood-fired pizza place called Pizzicletta. It's great. Just thought everyone should know. If anyone's in the Flagstaff area, you probably already know about it.
So when you're in the Flagstaff area, make sure you stop by.
I have no stake in this.
I have no
It's a word
financial,
from our
yes,
sponsor.
right. Just a word from our sponsor.
Definitely, living in New York is a transformative experience if you're a foodie. You get to go to new places and new types of cuisine all the time.
Yeah, thanks, Ernie. Steve, are you secretly seeding the conversations at home with coral or getting?
No, actually, I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Oh, interesting.
Just
I usually get blank stares, yeah. So I try and keep it neutral.
I see.
We just passed the 500-meter mark.
All right.
On this ascent.
Ooh. If you saw somebody walking out of your picture, that was Rennie to go roust the deck crew.
Get the deck crew. Do we have time for one rapid fire question around the room?
Let's do it.
All right. So Go a little quicker this time, but if you could have one ocean-related ability / superpower, what would it be?
Ooh.
Bioluminescence.
I like that one. Ocean-related superpower.
Could be dangerous.
Thanks to
sharks.
CRISPR, it might be a reality one day.
Yeah.
True, yeah. Some little biomodification.
Ooh, I would like to breathe underwater. That'd be great.
Echolocation.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's a good one. I'd like to have underwater volcanic activity so I could create my own little island.
Wow.
Ooh,
Is that an option?
Is that-
Pele here.
really?
We're going after geological powers now.
It's ocean related, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I have
I have to
created.
change my answer.
Is that like a superpower to like punch through the crust so that
I just
want to
be explosively hot and make
Oh.
new islands.
Is it?
I was thinking too limited. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, really. I was thinking like laser beams underwater would be cool. But no, I want to be able to transform the ocean.
It'd be nice for, I would want my body to be able to withstand the depth
Oh
changes
yeah, yeah.
without my body falling apart. I think that's a big one.
Yeah, have an exoskeleton of chitin.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Wow. Renata, I'm sorry you missed all that.
Oh, yeah, exoskeleton of chitin. That's all I got.
Good conversation.
Yeah.
We're doing a rapid fire. What is the ocean ability / superpower that you would want?
Ocean ability superpower.
Ocean related
Okay.
ability or superpower.
I mean, Beth said she would transform the ocean.
With undersea volcanoes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want to have underwater volcanic activity.
So it's anyone's game.
Yeah. It's tough to one up that one.
Yeah, I'm going to think.
It'd also be cool to be able to someone said echolocation earlier, right? But like not only to echolocate, but to actually like communicate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, underwater communication.
If I could understand
I wanna
what
change
whales
mine.
were saying to each other.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I was thinking
Hanging out
somewhere.
with some dolphins.
Yeah, like somewhere between Aquaman and waterbenders. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Oh.
there you go.
Yeah.
I want Thanos' powers to be able to snap my finger and have all the plastic and
Oh yeah.
just make it all disappear.
Wow.
That's my.
Dark, okay.
Okay, well, that's the only thing I think was Thanos. It's not. I don't want everybody to disappear. I want the plastic. So maybe it's like I'm Aquaman with
With Captain
don't go there,
Planet.
don't go
Makes
there,
sense.
Runny, or I'll snap my fingers.
I'm down for for eco Jeff Thanos. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Eco.
I don't know if that's
Yeah,
the best
eco
way to describe
Thanos.
that. Yeah.
it's like a alternate timeline to Captain Planet.
Yeah. See it.
With our powers combined.
Thanks again for sticking with us through the blue water. It's hopefully been entertaining and potentially educational couple hours for listeners. We've wrapped up this dive on Sovereign Seamount here in the Wentworth Seamouth Chain, Northeast Hawaiian Islands region, Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument. This was our 11th dive in this expedition, Lu'ua Ea Ahiki Ika Papaku. And if you're curious about more about our expedition or the monument, you can click on those links in the status update on nautiluslive.org or check out nautiluslive.org portals. Our next dive will be happening relatively soon. We're going to be up on deck here in the next 40 minutes aboard exploration vessel Nautilus, and then the ROVs will be deployed again around 4 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time on a seamount that I have not seen the dive plan for just yet, so I don't know the name.
think it's back to Tamana or adjacent ridge on Tamana.
Okay. Oh, so we're not going, okay. Kalamehu, could you teach us how to correctly pronounce the name of the Marine National Monument? And apologies if I mispronounced it.
Oh, all good, Gangy. Yeah. So, and everybody at home, you know, thankfully, or maybe not so much thankfully, you have a mic too, so feel free to participate around the world. So the first portion is Papa, right? And then we have Hano. So there's a macron above that first A, which elongates the sound a little bit. And then, so Papa, Hano, Moku, and then Akea. So Akea, that last portion, that A also has a macron over it. So Papa, Hano, Moku, Akea. Yeah.
Papa Hanau Mokuakea.
Yeah.
Pahana Mokuakea. Thank you.
There's also some great resources online at the papahanamokuakea.gov website with recordings of the proper pronunciation. So definitely check those out.
I remember seeing the name of our expedition and feeling extremely intimidated 3 weeks ago, and it's fun to be able to feel more confident in that now.
Yeah.
It's all thanks to Kalamehu's patient guidance.
Oh, thank you to you guys. Trust me, if you guys are feeling a little intimidated by the what is that called? By the expedition name, you should have seen me trying to look at the what is that called? The classification website.
For all the animals, yeah.
Yeah, that's been very fun.
A lot of Latin words.
Yeah, and if there are any viewers out there that are having a hard time spelling some of these, the names of these organisms, just let it be known that you are not alone.
There's some fun spellings of Latin names.
Before we start tracking ahead, it looks like on the HYPACK screen, it looks like a stock crinoid.
It does. Yeah, Jeff, could you pull up HYPACK on channel 3?
Wow, it does.
Yeah, so you can see as the vehicles are ascending behind the ship, they've been kind of pirouetting in the water and leaving behind a trace that looks reminiscent of some of the animals we've been seeing on the seafloor.
Chrysogorgia?
Just because that's the word you know.
Black coral.
Yeah, either Steve or Rennie should jump.
At least he didn't say Chonocops.
Tronoclops.
Yeah.
It's okay, Jake. I'm gonna push for both of us to get some unofficial certifications for our marine biology degree signed off by Steve back here. He's considering it. I can see it in his face now.
Might be a long road for us, but I think we'll get there.
As long as we have each other, we can get through this.
See, I hear a made-for-TV movie script in that.
These dives are better than some invertebrate biology classes, so that's not actually too far from the truth. Could learn a lot about invertebrate diversity from watching these dives.
And definitely about the relationships between animals, right? Which often you learn about them in class separately. Here we're seeing in real life, like, oh, look at that association.
For those who have been coming out to the Nautilus repeatedly, what makes you continue to come back? Is it your main job? Is it the theme or the subject? Or is it a different reason? This is only my second time back out, so I don't have a long answer for that.
This is kind of like my second time here. I got to sail on Nautilus just briefly, like 2 days, several years ago on a transit. But for me, the opportunity to go to sea on any deep sea exploration vessel is a great privilege and opportunity, but it's the only way that I can get samples for my research. So I'm very thankful to have this opportunity to come out here.